Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name's Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph. Today is Saturday. I want to say it's June 8th because I think tomorrow's the 9th. We're leaving on vacation tomorrow, but we've changed the date that we are leaving a couple of times, and so I actually don't remember the date that we landed on. I'm pretty sure we're leaving on the 9th, which would make today the 8th. Sorry. A little discombobulated. Yeah, so today is Saturday the 8th. It's almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I wasn't sure I was going to get to record this, but I am. I didn't want to wait until I got back from this trip because then I wouldn't be recording until the very end of June, and I hate leaving the podcast like that long between episodes. So we're getting a little impromptu episode here. I have no show notes written out. There will be no show notes for this episode. I apologize, but quite honestly, there are not a lot of things for me to link to in this one, and both projects that I'm going to show you I have linked to in the past episode or two, so you can always go back to those if you want to see the show notes. Anyway, if you're a new viewer to the podcast, thank you for checking me out. Just know that this is not my regular way of doing the podcast. I'm usually much more organized and less so maybe check out one of the past episodes or come back the next time I record when I should have things a little bit more in order, but you're welcome to stick around today. And the rest of you, thank you for being here. If you've been around with me for a lot of years, I don't know how long have I been doing this podcast now? It's 2024. I started in 2011. So this is like the 14th year of the podcast. If you've been around since the beginning, you know, just things can go different ways sometimes. So this is one of those days, but I do have a couple things I'm going to show you. I'm going to talk about my potential vacation knitting, and I'll tell you a little bit about the trip coming up. And also I have a sale. I'm running a sale in the shop during my vacation. I want to make sure you know about that too. So that's what I'm going to mainly focus on today. So first thing is I'm going to show you this sock and this sock, but I only brought one sock blocker in. They are a complete set now. That looks funny. Here, I'll hold them this way so I'm not all crissy-crossy. So this is my Gathering Seashells colorway, which I did just put up in the shop as a die-to-order item. So you can get this as a die-to-order self-striping or mini skein set now on multiple bases. So you can look for that if you're interested in it. I knit these. I started these back in February. I think the end of February when we went on our little DC overnight weekend. Anyway, this is the heel toe do-si-do pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady. Is her name the Crazy Sock Lady? Or am I thinking the Crazy Cat Lady? No, Kay Litton. Sorry, I think she's the Crazy Sock Lady. Anyway, I've done this pattern before. I really like it. It's just a nice little, change up from doing just a plain vanilla or plain ribbed sock, and I wanted something that I could think about a little bit, have to pay attention to, rather than just do all stockinette or all ribbing for the entire sock on the train trip that I was on when I started these. So they are now finished. This pair is for me because I made a pair of these for my husband whenever I first created this colorway. He got the first pair and I'm like, I like that colorway. So now I have a pair and they are nice and tall. So these will definitely be winter socks. It's very sunny and quite warm in here, but I have some shorty socks on today because it was chilly earlier today. But these are definitely going to be waiting until the colder months to wear. Not much else to tell you about them. I knit them on US 1s. That's my usual size needle for fingering weight yarn. And these are done. So that is my only finished object to show you. That is mainly what I've been working on. It's been my work at the dining room table in the mornings and evenings sometimes project. So those are done. I have a partially almost sort of finished object, and that's my spinning project. So I think I showed you the finished bobbins maybe last time. This is some fiber that was marinated in my stash for a very, very long time from Keegan Lean Yarns. It was some superwash merino in my something wickedness or something to that effect. I don't remember. Sorry. try to put it down here at the bottom. Anyway, I had spun both of the singles, and this was kind of just a quickie palette cleanser kind of spin for me. And so I wasn't overthinking, it was just going to be a fractal spin. And so I did spin both of the singles on my Sidekick, on my Ashford Traveler, and I was going to do the plying on the Sidekick, but I needed to change the drive band on my Sidekick, which I know I can do it. I think I did it once before. I honestly don't remember. I haven't done it yet. And so you're probably thinking, well, Lisa, how did you start plying those? I just started plying on my Traveler, which means I'm only half done plying because I can only do a smaller skein. I have the nice big flyer and bobbins for my Sidekick. But the other night, I had crazy insomnia. I almost never have insomnia. Like, I lay my head down on the pillow and I'm out. And my husband and I went to bed the other night, and it was a little later than I usually go to bed, which made it even stranger that I couldn't go to sleep. It was Thursday, I think. And yeah, I laid down. It was going on 9:30, so it was not early, but like that's like the latest I usually go to bed because I get up early. Anyway, I'm laying there and I am tossing and turning and tossing and turning, and I couldn't get comfortable. And my one hip has been bothering me. It makes me sound super old when I say my hip's bothering me, but that was part of the problem too. And finally, after about 45 minutes of this, my husband said, "Did you take some melatonin tonight?" Like, he knows the answer is no, because I don't take melatonin on a regular basis. I used to, but then it started making me just feel like a zombie even in the morning, so I quit taking it. And like I said, I don't usually have trouble falling asleep. He's the one who tends to take melatonin more frequently. He's like, "Did you take any tonight?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Maybe you should." So got up, he got me one. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this, but I'm going to get up and I just need to do something and like settle my brain down, because that was what it was, like between being uncomfortable in bed, not being able to settle, and I just had a ton of things running through my brain. You know what it's like. We all have those nights, right? So I got up and I think I had finished those socks. I don't know. I had finished those socks a while ago, so that wasn't it. I don't know. I didn't feel like working on the sock that I had going. And so this was sitting on my wheel waiting for me to change my drive band, and I thought, I'm just going to start plying on my Traveler. And so that's what I did. Now, let me tell you, this is superwash merino. Number one, I very rarely spin superwash fibers. And number two, I very rarely spin merino, period. This was fine when I was doing the singles. And I don't know if it's just that they've been sitting there for a while. And since I spun it, since I spun the singles, it has gotten warmer and quite humid. But trying to ply this was a hot mess. Oh my gosh. Like, I could not, no matter how much I adjusted the tension on my wheel. It's a double drive wheel, so that's the kind of tension I use for my uptake for my bobbin. No matter how much I tightened it, I could not get it to take up fast enough where this didn't want to just go, you know how it does. It makes that noise, you're right. I was having real issues with it, so I don't know what the deal was. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't usually have that problem plying, but I think it was just the combination of the fiber and the humidity that was just making this want to be really springy and just not wanting to cooperate. And again, it's just it was a quick and dirty spin. I didn't have any plans for it, and it'll be fine for a hat or something someday. But yeah, the plying was a little frustrating. So I do have the other half of it on my wheel. I finally got tired that night and didn't finish spinning it. So it's probably not going to get finished plying. I'm sorry, not spinning. It's not going to get finished getting plied until probably after I get home, unless I have time tonight to do it before I go to bed. But anyway, that is my spinning work in progress. And the only other project that I brought in to show you that I'm working on is a shorty sock. And this is my anniversary colorway, a legacy, which was inspired by that blanket right there that my Nana made many years ago. So yeah, I am knitting these socks. These are going to be shorty socks, and I'm giving them to my mom for her birthday. I figure it was her mom who made that blanket there. So I thought it might be fun for her to have a pair of socks in this colorway. This is the first sock, and I'm just doing my regular 2x1 ribbed sock, nothing fancy. I am on the gusset decreases for the heel. I will probably take this with me in the car on the way up to vacation. This is not going to be my vacation knitting though, just since I'm already almost half done with the first sock. I feel like I need something that'll offer me a little bit more work. Yeah, this is just a plain little muslin bag that I've had. I think at one point it had something like ironed on, like a design ironed on it, but like in washing it just came off. So anyway, and one of the cats splashed coffee on it today, but I don't think it got on the yarn. So anyway, so this is my sock work in progress, which again will probably go in the car with me, but is probably not going to go on the boat with me. So aside from that, the only thing I have also been working on a little bit is my Granny Square Obsession blanket. That is going to come with me in the car. So it's I think it's around an 8 to 9 hour drive. We're going up to Ontario. We're canoeing in the Rideau Canal. If you're from Canada, you probably know what the Rideau Canal is. If you're a canoeist or something, you may be aware of it. But anyway, it's a canal that runs from Kingston, Ontario up to Ottawa, Quebec. I know Ottawa's in Quebec. That's like, I don't know a lot of Canadian geography, but I do know that. Anyway, so we are doing this canoe trip. The trip itself, we thought was going to be 2 weeks, like a travel day on either end, and then 6 days up and 6 days back down the canal, because we never just go one direction. We always go 2 directions. But as we were planning the trip and having to time the locks and how long, there's like 47 locks on this canal, and they're all the old-fashioned locks. They're operated by hand. They're not like automated or anything. So they tell you how much time to allow for each lock, and then you're supposed to take that time and double it, because if somebody else is already coming up the other direction, then you have to sit and wait for them to get done before you can get in the lock and go the opposite way. So in having to do that, and the fact that our trip, most of it except for I think the last 2 days, is in what is considered like pre-season time, where the lock hours are actually shorter Monday through Thursday than they are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There were certain days that we just couldn't feasibly plan to do long distances those days because we had multiple locks we had to account for. So in order to play it safe, we had to add a day on to either end of our trip, which that's making this whole trip, including driving days, 16 days. That's way longer of a trip than I am ever comfortable with. I don't like being away from home that long. I am homebody. Not to mention I have, my own business. Nobody else does any work when I'm not here. Well, that's not entirely true. I do have somebody who helps me wind striping patterns. She's a huge help to me, and she is going to be doing some stuff while I'm away, but she does that at her house. But all the other stuff, like the listings and the shipping and the dyeing, like I'm the one who does that. So if I'm not here, no work is getting done in that respect. So it does make me a teeny bit nervous to be gone so long. I don't know. I guess this is therapy. It's therapy moments here. I'm sure it'll be fine. And I always have a good time on the trips. It's just the planning of them that kind of makes me a little anxious. So anyway, I'm not sure even why I launched into that. Yeah, anyway, I need knittings. Oh, that's why I was talking about how long it's going to take us to get there. Here to Kingston is going to be probably about an 8 to 9 hour drive. And that may or may not include border crossing time. I don't remember if that's factored into that or not. At whatever point, like I'm going to have a lot of time because Bill will probably do all of the driving unless he needs a break. Then I'll drive a little bit, but he usually does most of the driving. So I get to do a lot of knitting or crochet or whatever, and that's great. I will be taking my Granny Square project with me in the car. I decided because I'm really close. I think I've got 2 more rows. No, I've probably got 3.5 more rows of squares to put in, and then the border. And I really think I can probably finish that off on the drive up. That would be awesome if I could do that. So I will definitely be taking that project with me. I need to wind at least 2 or 3 more skeins of the natural that I'm using for my borders. So that I have to do yet today. I am going to take a sock project for in the boat. Now, in the boat and camping. We'll be camping along the way at all of the lock stations. Most of the lock stations you can camp at. We're going to be at a hotel in Ottawa that one night, but the rest of the time we'll be camping. Now, if you've been following me for a while through the years of the different trips that Bill and I take, you know that I always take knitting, but it's up in the air as to whether I actually get to do much, either because I don't have time or I'm just too tired by the end of the day. Now, this being a canoe trip, you would think, wow, you're going to be exhausted. Well, you would think that, except our canoe, which if I get a chance, I'll go outside and take a picture because it's hooked up and you can see it. It's hooked up the trailer. It's on a trailer and the trailer is hooked up to the car. It's big. It's a long canoe. It's 17 feet, but it's also very, very wide. So it's really good for this kind of a trip, and you can put a ton of gear in it, and it has an outboard motor. So we will not be paddling except for like when we need to get in the locks and out of the locks and away from walls. We'll probably, or docking, things like that. We'll be, manually getting in and out. But for the most part, that motor is going to be running. Hope it doesn't break. Oh. Shouldn't even put that out there. Okay. Not manifesting that. Anyway, no, it'll be fine. But since I'm going to be sitting in the front of a boat for, 14 days, I thought I may have time to knit. I mean, even though I'm sure there's going to be lots to see, I can knit while I'm looking, I don't know. I've never been on this kind of trip before with Bill, so I've done a lot of paddling with him where we're actually, like doing the paddling, but not a self-propelled boat trip. He did the Everglades back in January or February by himself. And he's done a lot of trips by himself, but this is the first one he did with this boat and this motor. And it went fine. So I have no reason to think this won't, but I have no idea what I'm going to do. Now, on the day of the eclipse a couple months ago, we went up to Pymatuming Lake and we were out on the lake all day. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so boring waiting for this eclipse. And I had taken knitting with me that day and I didn't touch it because it was so fascinating. There was so much waterfowl out that we were just watching and just so much to see. And so I am sure there's going to be a lot to see on this trip too. But there's part of me who's like, oh my gosh, what if you get bored? And so I have to have knitting with me. So this is all that to introduce what I am going to take with me. This is a skein of Knit Spin Farm. I don't have the ball band in here. What's super funny is, and this is a mini that came with it. I had this in my stash. It's one of her winter colorways. It's something about boughs. There's supposed to be snow on the boughs. There's little white spots and stuff. It's really pretty. But I bought this one year and then she had it again and I bought it again. I have 2 of these. So eventually I will have 2 skeins of this. Maybe I'll knit 1 pair for Emma or whatever. I would say Bill, but he doesn't really need any more hand knit socks because he doesn't work anymore and he's always just bumming around here, so I'll probably make them for Emma. Anyway, so that is going to be my boat sock. Now, I am thinking, well, that's a long time to be in a boat. What if I need something else? So I'm really thinking about winding this up as well, which is another Knit Spin Farm. They're self-striping skeins, and this is her Corriedale sock. I can't remember if that's Corriedale or her Targhee sock. It's one or the other. This is Falling Hoarfrost, and I really love that color. And it's funny because all of the colors I think I have of hers right now, except for one, are wintry colorways. So wrong time of year to be doing that. Although maybe I'll, knit the wintry vibes when I'm out in the middle of a river under the hot, hot sun. See, that's another thing I'm so worried about is like, you've been hearing all about my skin issues since January. And while things are mostly under control at this point, I know, like, just because of some medications that I'm taking for other issues, I can't get sunburned. Like, I need to be covered all the time. So I'm taking a lot of long sleeved and long pant kind of things, like lightweight, things that wick moisture and everything. But I'm anxious about how that's going to work out because I also don't want to be like super, super hot the whole time. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, that's also going to play a factor in how much knitting I do, because if it's like really hot and I'm sweaty, like I can't. Maybe I should take different yarn because this is really nice. It's superwash, but it's woolly. I don't know. I'll have to see. Okay, so anyway, there's that. So that is my in the boat and while camping knitting. At least the one that's already wound up. Maybe the other one if I'm crazy. So there's that. And then I have to have something else for the car. I was thinking about taking these. So this is 4 skeins of Elizabeth Lavold silky wool that I have had in my stash forever. It's 3 colors. I have 2 skeins of this color and then 1 of each of these ones on top. I don't know. I used to just sort of collect this, especially if it was on sale, because I love this yarn so much. It's a DK weight, but it's a really lightweight DK weight. And with these 6 skeins, what's the yardage on this again? Let me think, or let me look. 175 meters. I was thinking I could do some sort of a crocheted top, like a really open crocheted top with this. Now I'm not 100% sure that I'd have enough. But I don't want to do anything with sleeves. I've been talking about crocheting tops for so long now, and I still have not started anything. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that. But that was one idea. The other thought I was going to maybe just weave with it. That is definitely not a vacation trip project. Another thought is I have a hap that's been languishing in my yarn room for years now, and Carol from A Stitch in Time has recently finished a hap that she also had on the needles for some time, and so I'm thinking, ooh, maybe I should pull mine out and try to finish that. So I may look at that and see if that's something I want to work on in the car. And then the other thought I have is I've got at least 2 other blanket projects that have been started for years and years and years. I thought, well, maybe I could just take some yarn and work on squares for those. Actually, the one doesn't need squares. It needs to be joined together and put a border on. It was like when I was in an Afghan square swap or something a long time ago. But the other one was my hand spun log cabin squares that I was doing. I started that project in 2013, so like it's really, really old. So I may look at that and see how many I have and just take some yarn to like make more squares or something. I don't know. Or I might just come up with a different project. But those are my thoughts for in the car. I know if I'm true to myself, I will take way more than I will ever be able to work on. But that's just how I roll. Anyway, so that's what's going on here. I just heard my daughter get home from work, and she and Bill have a project they need to do, and I don't know if they need me to help them or not. So I should probably hurry up here. But I did want to let you know, last thing, aside from the fact that the Project Pool Make-Along that I mentioned earlier is still going on. At least I think I mentioned it earlier. If I didn't, our Make-Along is still going on. And yeah, May, June is the next 2-month period that we're doing for prizes. So I will announce new prize winners at the beginning of July, but I should have one more episode between now and then. So check that out. We've got a really lively, chatty group over on the Ravelry group in that thread if you're able to participate there, or you can post things on Instagram with the hashtag. That would be great too. Yeah, so other than that, the only thing I wanted to let you know is I am running a vacation sale while I am on vacation. I just got done uploading a ton of I don't know why I'm saying uploading, listing. I just got done listing a whole bunch of self-striping and mini skein sets that I had left over from my show last weekend. So that is all up in there in stock. Now, the thing is, obviously, while I'm away, I can't ship. So any in-stock items that you purchase will ship when I get back, like that week after I return from my trip. Dye-to-order stuff that's up there, it's still up there, and that should still be able to go out within that 2 to 5 week window that I have listed. Definitely much closer to the 5 weeks than the 2 weeks, but if you're willing to wait, then those dye-to-order items are up there for you. But I am offering a discount code to use throughout the duration of my vacation. So from now through June 24th, you can use the code VACATION15 and that will give you 15% off whatever you purchase. And that's good on anything in the shop except Holiday Countdown collections. That's the only thing that won't work on that. So yeah, whether it's dye to order, in stock, if there's something that's already on sale, you can still use the coupon code. So I hope you'll enjoy that, and thank you for your patience in having your in-stock stuff shipped out to you. I do still have more show inventory that I was not able to get up in the shop yet, so I will be working on that after I get home. But I thought I would get the self-striping and the mini skein sets up anyway, and that includes some inversible sets, so check it all out. I'm doing my best to make sure that everything in the shop is either listed as pre-order, dye to order, or in stock. So those are the first 3 options in the menu. So if you want to see, okay, what does she have in stock, you should be able to click on that and see just what's in stock. And then again, if you want to see dye to order, click on dye to order, you can see what's dye to order. Some things are both. There are some colorways that are up as both, like my Legacy, that colorway. That dye to order is still up there, but I did have some left over from the show, so there's some in stock. And that goes for a lot of the different colorways. So anyway, I hope you find something you love. Thank you ahead of time if you do shop the sale. And yeah. If you are a member of this channel, please check the community post or community tab, because I did post a special post just for my channel members that has a little extra discount for you guys. I like to do that for my members. If you're not a member of the channel and you would like to be, you can check that out. Just go to the main Fiber Nymph Dye Works page here on YouTube, and you'll see a little button that says perks, or a link that says perks or join, and it'll tell you about it. It's just $5 a month, and you get a little extra content every month, and occasionally I offer special discounts or things like that for my members. So that's something to look into. And if you do want to join now, then you would be able to take advantage of that members extra special little discount as well for the sale. So that's just an option out there for everybody. All right, I'm gonna go because number one, it's super, super hot in here, and I do have to finish up getting my yarn packed for my trip. So I'm gonna go do that, and I will see you guys at the end of June. Have a good couple of weeks, and if you're going away, I hope you have a great trip, and otherwise, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.